Om Samast Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. So today we start verse number 24 and last time we had done that whatever the great do, whatever those people do whom you revere, whom you respect or whom you look up to, the others do the same. Anugami hote hain wo, that is the anugami. So they do the same thing. So that is why for modeling and for advertising any good, you choose these famous people, actors or cricketers or this or that, because a lot of people like to look like them, they like to imitate them, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now, but then he says that everybody must work. The last verse had said that look at me. Krishna is saying, look at me. Even I work. And if I stop working, even for a little while, you will notice that the whole world will come to a halt. Because he is the one that activates everything in the world. And therefore, he says that I don't do, but through my very presence, I magnetize everything. And everything works because of my energy. Now the next verse says, Utsideyurime loka nakuryam karma chedaham sankarasya cha kartasyam upahanyamima prajaha. It says, these worlds would perish if I did not perform action. See? So Krishna is saying that the entire creation, the entire universe rests on him. So he cannot stop plant, human, animal, anything at all works because of him. And if even for a second he stops working, then even for a moment he stops working, the whole world will come to a stop. So he can't take leave. Leave aside a weekend, he can't take a moment off. And he says, I am continuously working. But here, what does this say? He says, these worlds would perish if I did not perform action. Notice that it is a plural, worlds. So it is not just this planet Earth that you are talking about. You are talking about the whole universe and any area of experience possible, and that would just be destroyed. So these worlds would perish if I did not perform action. I should be the author of confusion of castes. Huh? Now, very carefully, I'll just be explaining this. This word is a red button. The word castes is a hot button these days. The moment you mention it, everybody's antenna is up and ready to fight. So, confusion of castes and should destroy these beings. Now, see, we think differently and we act differently, don't we? All human beings have a different mindset. All human beings behave differently in different situations, given situations. And in the Gita, Krishna has very clearly said that I made the castes dependent upon guna karma vibhajita, he says. Dependent on guna and karma. Now also understand, it is not created on birth. Nowhere has Krishna said that by birth I created castes. He says that the humanity, the entire humanity, I have divided based on guna and karma. So no matter in which family you are born, whether it is a Brahmin family or a Kshatriya family, or it is a Vaishya family or a Kshudra family, depending on your mindset, you will be that. Your mindset and your actions, because as you think, so you act, right? So whatever is your mental climate or mental conditioning, you will behave accordingly. And when you behave like that, that will determine your class. All teachers, are there not teachers the world over? There are dynamic men of action, leaders of men, army, police, politicians. Are they not there in the world? They are all over the world. Businessmen, traders, and business people, industrialists, are they not there all over the world? They are all over the world. And workers and laborers, tell me, where is it that they are not? They are all over the world. So these are the four kinds roughly divided. People are those who are intellectuals and are into studying and teaching, research work, all academic work. They are Brahmins. By temperament, they are Brahmins. They may be born anywhere, but they are by temperament Brahmins. Then leaders of men, as I told you, politicians, the armed forces, police, all the people who see to law and order, by temperament, those people are the Kshatriyas. The third category is the Vaishya. Vaishya means generators of wealth and industry, trade, and thing. And workers, of course, laborers, I told you. All over the world, there are laborers who do not do any intellectual work. They do not do any business. They work from morning to evening and get their wages. So these four categories are around the world, but they are not by birth. They are guna, karma, vibhajita, as Krishna said. What does now then this mean? I should be the author of the confusion of caste and should destroy all beings. It means that if he stops supporting, stops energizing these different categories, then they will think differently and act differently. They will do all kinds of wrong things which they are not supposed to do according to their temperament. And therefore, he says that mind and body is generally framed by the Lord according to your desires. A wrestler's body is different from a dancer's body. An actress's body is different from an ordinary worker's body, right? So according to the desires and according to the kind of work you will be doing in the world, your body and mind is formed. If Krishna stops forming the minds and bodies of people, what will happen? Tell me. They will, there will be total confusion, and there will be total confusion in the casting. You know, this word caste has come from casting, molding. You know, caste banta hai na. When you form a statue, then they melt material or dhatu or whatever, and then they pour it in the mold. That mold is called a caste, and according to the caste, the statue takes shape, isn't it? When you form cakes, pastries, and all, isn't there a caste? There is a mold in which you put it, and then when you take it out, it forms that same shape. You know, so there are cakes in the shape of animals, there are cakes in the shape of heart, there are cakes in the there's a mold. Similarly, depending on our desires, the mold is made according to our body, and mind is made accordingly. That is the meaning of the caste over here, that it is a molding thought. it is a instrument for molding thoughts and actions. That is what caste means over here. And so he says that I do not want the embodiment of godhood to be confused. All those of you who have read ancient Indian history must have read about the early Vedic period and the later Vedic period. If you go to the early Vedic period, there is no hard molding of castes. A Brahmin girl marries a Vaishya marries a Shudra marries a Brahmin. All that is happening because there is no hard watertight boxes. Today is a degeneration of the interpretation of this word caste. And what is happening in the Hindu society today, and all the atrocities that take place in the society today, because of these castes and these rigid formulas that have come by the caste, there is no religious sanction for it. Neither in the Gita, nor in the Vedas, nor in the Upanishads, nor Upanishad to सवाल ही नहीं है, nor in the Bhagavad Puran, nor in any other Puran. There is no watertight compartment for caste. It is only different people acting differently. So never think that there is a religious sanction in the Gita for the caste. When Krishna says he made the caste, he says guna karma vibhajita very clearly. So understand this, and never for anything. See, a Vaishya, if you put him as a leader of men in the category of Kshatriya, that is where he will do business. That is his temperament. So for every license he gives, he will ask for money. For every sanction he gives, he will ask for money. Because that is his temperament. Poor fellow is doing his dharma. And that is where the confusion lies. Right? So a leader of men who is always there to fight and protect and all that, if you put him into teaching, what will he do? He will mess it up. Just like a doctor cannot work in an engineering place, and an engineer cannot work in a doctor's surgery room, similarly, people of different categories, people of different mental thinking cannot work in the other given situations. So if one mind is fitted into a different body and Krishna stops working, consciousness stops working, then all this confusion will take place. That is exactly what he is trying to say. So in the, what I was saying was, in the pre-Rig Vedic age, there was no such distinction. In the post-Rig Vedic age, you will notice that slowly hard lines of caste have started forming, and today we have a totally degenerate form of the in the society of these castes, and they are very rigidly imposed. Murders take place because of that. So come to the next verse now. Saktah karmanya vidvanso yatha kurvanti bharata kuryade vidvans tatha sakt Chekir Sura Loka Sangraham. I'll read it again. Sakta Karmane Avidvanso Yatha Kurvanti Bharata Kuryad Vidvam Satatha Saktas Chekir Sura Loka Sangraham. As the ignorant men act from attachment to action, O Bharata, so should the wise act without attachment, wishing the welfare of the world. Because then the question arose was that then ultimately one man who knows the ultimate truth, should he stop working? Krishna's first given his own example, that even I work. And here he very clearly says that nobody has a right to stop working. Nobody. So never say this that sab sadhu ban jayenge to kaam kaun karega? What will happen to business? What will happen to the world? He is saying it is only an attitude of mind which he wants the change in, not in working. Work, everybody has to work. And also remember, no, not a single human being can stay without working. Even eating is working, isn't it? Begging for food is working. Even if you're begging for food and not earning it, even that is working, isn't it? Hmm? So here he says that ignorant men act from attachment. All ignorant people like you and me act because we want something. That is why we see. Gurudev used to give the example of a panwala who sits on a lonely street making pan. Even till the last movie show, he is sitting there because he thinks that after the movie, when men come down this street, somebody will want a cigarette, somebody will want a pan, somebody will want a packet of pan masala, somebody will want. So let me do that business. Because what does he want? He wants money. For attachment to money, he sits there. He's sitting alone. He's the only shop that's open. All other shops have closed. So why is he sitting there? Attachment to money. And he sits there till after 12 o'clock for the last movie show to finish because he wants to collect money slowly, slowly. His desire is to own the whole street. Attachment to that desire makes him work. Another example he used to give was of politicians. Have you seen them during elections? They forget to eat. They forget to sleep. They are sleeping in the whole night they travel, and they sleep in that same jeep, which is going from one town to another. But what is he working for? Power. He is working for his attachment to power, to position, to fame, to status, isn't it? But he says these are ignorant men. And he says, what should you work for? Wise should act without attachment, wishing the welfare of the world. If even one person is benefited, that action is sanctioned by the Lord. He says that even if a few people are being benefited. See, when Swami Chinmayanand began teaching, his teacher told him that even if 4 people come to listen to you, you must teach. Think about it. Think about it. It is not millions and millions. Now, today, with the advent of your laptops and your TV and all these other things that you have, there are thousands of people who are able to listen to satsangs around the world. What a great benefit it is. So nobody should think that, oh, I have very few viewers, or I have very little. Even if one person is benefited, even if 4 people, as Swami Tapovan said, that even if 4 people are benefited, you should act because your objective is the welfare of the society. So any action that you do, test yourself on this only, that it should not be for selfish desires. It should be for the benefit of all mankind. Of course, you should benefit. You have to earn your bread. You have to eat. You have to see that your family lives. That much is okay. But more than that, you have to see that the society is benefited. Now, understand one thing. You say work without attachment. But the fact is that mind can only work in fields of attachment. That is a fact. Only when the mind is attached to something, only then it will work. So then what is the remedy? It is detaching from the ignoble and selfish and attaching to the noble action and the selfless action. That is also attachment. So Gurudev used to always say, attach to detach. So this is what he's saying over here also, that a wise man should work without attachment. And work should be consistent. There should be no break in work. You should go on working. People think that, oh, once you've retired, then oh, nothing. Just sit at home and do nothing, because there's enough to eat anyway. You get your pension and you get everything. So you've got a house, you already built a house, you have everything. So just sit. What are you? You are a weight on society. Huh? You are a weight on the face of this earth. You have to even then do something. So retired people living with their children or living alone have to always say, how can I be useful? Can I do something? Even little things like dropping the children to school or bringing them back from school, helping them with their homework, something or the other you can do to help in the household, isn't it? And that work action should be a selfless action. Hmm? If some place needs a little bit of cleaning, you can do it. If cooking needs helping, you can do it. If children need some help, you can do it. Housewife needs some help, you can do it. So those little things, but even those little things, you must do without a sense of attachment for the benefit of the family around you. See? So attach your mind to the nobler action, to the selfless action, and work accordingly. Now, see, you have the example of Gandhi. Gandhi brought freedom for himself or for all of us together. All those people today who stand up and criticize Gandhi, you would never have been able to even open your mouth if Gandhi was not there. Agreed, he was a human being, he committed mistakes, I agree. You can blame him for this, that, and the other. Yes, you can. But you will have to have a huge debt of gratitude to the man. He gave up his whole life. He gave up even his family. He gave up his looking after his children so that he may work for the freedom of this country. So this is a very, very important thing that you must understand, and that you must forget about your pains and aches for the benefit of society. So now then the next verse. Na buddhi bhedam janayed, no. Na buddhi bhedam janayed ajnanam karma sanginam joshayet sarva karmani vidvan yukta samacharan. He says, to such a man of wisdom who is working in society for the service of man, the following advice is given. What is the advice? This is very, very important advice. Let no wise man unsettle the mind of the ignorant people who are attached to action. He should engage them in all actions, himself fulfilling them with devotion. Look at that. See, the moment we learn a little bit of Vedanta, we are very tempted to give bhashan to other people. Everybody wants to do that, and they love to tell them, "Arey, isme kya rakha, usme kya rakha? Arey, chodo, ye kya kar rahe ho? Arey, ye chodo, arey, wo chodo. Arey, look at this. Krishna himself is advising you, never do that. Never do that. Look what he's saying. Let no wise man unsettle the mind of the ignorant people. Let them do what they are doing. All you have to do is to change a little bit of the direction. That is all. That they should do some selfless actions which should benefit the society as well. They will not completely leave doing what they are doing. See, because they have not understood it as you have understood it. You have become wise. They are not wise as yet. They are like us before we knew this knowledge. Taken? So don't judge them. A time will come when they will also become wise. What are they doing just now? So he says, see, let no wise man, that is why I said this verse is very important. We are very, very tempted to make others look like us, make others do what we want to do, and force them. "Arey, kya kar rahe ho? Why are you doing this? Mein kya rakha hai? Don't do it." People love doing this. Never do that. Look, he says very clearly, let no wise man unsettle the mind of the ignorant people. See, they are doing according to how their mind works. They will only excel in doing what they are doing. So by your telling them, you are confusing them. They have not as yet understood. So don't be tempted to do this. Only change the direction a little bit. That's all. And that little bit of direction, when you change, little bit of twisting, their life will slowly begin to see what they should do. So the wise man must not live in an ivory tower. I am better than my neighbor. Look, I am so spiritual. Look at this one. This one is so sensuous. This one is so like this. This one is like that. That one. We immediately start judging people. I am very spiritual. Don't think like that. Because even when you start complimenting yourself, you will fall. This is a warning Krishna gives to the spiritual people, so-called spiritual. Because you start congratulating yourself. You start feeling nobler than thou, higher than thou. You feel that, no, even my family is a little bit below me. I am a little bit more spiritual. I am a little bit more sattvic. I am a little bit more advanced in spirituality. No. They are on the ladder. They may be on a little lower rung of the ladder where you were standing before you got the knowledge. So have that patience and don't make them confused by saying do this and do that, and then you should be a man of equipoise. Why are you getting angry? Why are you getting so upset? Why are you so attached to this? Why are you so attached to that? No, don't do that. It is unsettling them. And he very clearly says, no wise man should unsettle the mind of the ignorant who are attached to action, because they are doing action selfishly. They are doing it for money. I just gave you the example, for money, for power, for gain of some sort. So let them do it, but only that little bit of positive thinking you should make them see. Little bit of unselfishness you should introduce, but very little. So just change the direction. uh, So don't stay in an ivory tower, come down to their level, live at that level, and channelize and direct their energy slowly into something selfless. And very slowly you will notice that their minds will also start changing. Like you can sometimes take them to hear a talk. I know many cases where a son has gone to pick up his mother from a satsang. He said, I don't want to attend satsangs. What satsang? I always do the right thing and I'm very ethical. I'm very pious and I'm okay. I do my pranams to the Lord myself. And that's my subjective. I don't have to listen to any guru. So his mother went to a satsang and he went to pick up his mother. But he reached about 10 minutes earlier. So he thought, dekhen to sahi meri mummy kya sunne aati hai. So he stood there and he listened. When he started listening, then he found it interesting. He sat down. I know those cases. That is why I'm narrating to you. So he sits down. And then he hears the whole thing. Next day, he tells his mother, Mummy, come, I'll accompany you. And he goes and sits. And then he goes every day. He goes with her, sits with her, and brings her back also. And that is how it slowly happens. But if you try to force them, it will not happen. Krishna is giving you that advice. Just see, because he understands the psychology of people. Then, Dekho, Gurudev used to also do this. I'm giving you Gurudev's example when he used to teach hardcore Vedanta in the Siddhabari ashram. You know what he used to do? This was the time mostly when he used to take camps, October. So you used to have the Navratras there. And Navratras, all the Gujaratis wanted to do the Garba and the Dandiya. Now, you think Gurudev would be interested in Garba and Dandiya? Not at all. But he used to say, yes, come on now. Where are the Garba girls? Okay, where are the Dandiya boys? Come along. And so in the Siddhabari ashram, after dinner, these Gujaratis mostly, and then not only Gujaratis, lot of other people, even North Indians used to join in. Gurudev used to sit there watching that whole thing. And he used to then praise them, he used to encourage them. Now that is not part of Vedanta, but he used to encourage because people wanted to do it, right? And not only that, then the Himachalis used to come in. They used to say, we want to sing our bhajans, so should we sing? Gurudev used to say yes. Gurudev started a nursing course over there for the villagers, girls of the villages around. Those girls who were doing nursing, they wanted to sing Himachali bhajans. So Gurudev used to sit and listen to those Himachali bhajans and encourage them and appreciate them. He never used to say, no, you listen to Vedant and what is all this and all. No, nothing of that sort. Then also people used to say, we want to have a bonfire. Okay, have a bonfire. There were some students from Fiji Islands, so they used to want to have a bonfire. Gurudev used to say, okay, have a bonfire. And then people used to dance around the bonfire singing Veer Hanumana Ati Balvana Ram Nam Rasyare. It was a combination of Fiji and Himachali. Then there was a gentleman from Himachal. Gurudev, he said that, Swamiji, with these bhajans, we play Himachali drums. So Gurudev said, okay, bring the Himachali drums. So those Himachali drums were brought in, and how beautifully he used to play those Himachali drums. He showed it to us. And wow, they were really something we had never seen. Huge big drums, and how beautifully he used to play them. So Gurudev used to sit through all this. He never told them that don't do this and don't do this and don't do that. Teaching us by example that don't tell people to stop doing what they are doing, but just change it a little. So all these things were happening on bhajans. All these activities, the dancing, the singing, the drums, the bonfire, everything was connected to very lively bhajans where everybody wanted to do this and that and that and that, and everybody started doing all that. Now, see, tell me, was Krishna and Ram, both were avatars of the divine. They were pure consciousness clothed in a human body. Did they stop acting? Think about it. Is Rama's life an actionless life? Is Krishna's life an actionless life? Did he just sit as the king and sleep out his life in luxury? No. Right from day one, Krishna's life is full of action. Whether he was with the gopis, whether he was killing Rakshasas, whether he was with Yashoda, or he was with the Kans, or he was, developing his own Dwarka, or that he was in the Mahabharat war, or that he was a peace negotiator between the Kauravas and the Pandavas. How much of work? He even used to wash the feet of the people who came for the yajna. Shouldn't have Krishna said, oh, I am the Lord Supreme, I should just sit and let these people fight and die or do what they like? No. Look at Ramji. Ramji's life is full of action, right from the beginning, right up to the end of his day. He has worked and worked and worked. They have fought wars. They have been part of peacemaking. They have been part of killing Rakshasas. They have been part of saving people who were doing yagnas and havans, right? So it is, understand that they have shown by example. It is not just by bhashan that you do the. So then what is that? That is an example to us. That we who have little spirituality in us, or little Vedantic knowledge we have learned as householders, we love to tell others, don't do this and do it like this, and don't do like that and do it like that. Go along with them just like Gurudev used to. So if your family says, go for a movie, let's go for a movie, you say, yeah, let's go, come. The children want to see an action movie, okay. I don't want to see it, but chalo, I'll come. Because just to humor them, just to make them feel. And then if you draw some didactic lesson from there, put it across. Yeah, so wrapped up in chocolate, it has gone in. Gurudev used to say this, that you will never sit and listen to Vedant if I don't wrap it in chocolate and I pop it in your mouth. By the time you taste it, it is so sweet and all that, it has already gone in. So that is what Gurudev used to also do with us. He used to teach us with jokes and incidents, and we used to half the time be laughing, and laughing mostly at our own selves, because his jokes were all on us. Generally, and what we do and how we behave in the world. So he used to tell jokes on that only. So this is a very clear example. Please note it. And for all the people who start preaching morality to people around them, who start teaching Vedanta and ethics to people around them, no, teach them by living it yourself, by acting it out yourself. Remain calm, remain poised in situations where everybody else is angry. So they will notice, they will see, look at mummy, look at daddy, look at the way they were so calm while we were getting so upset, we were getting so angry. It is only through action that you will be able to teach them. Don't start teaching them. And without action, nobody can live. See, in this same chapter, remember we did verse 8, where it says, Sharira yatra pichate. Na prasiddhi yedaka. So it is that your body actions will also not be possible if you do not work. You have to eat, you have to have a bath, you have to cook, you have to look after the house, you have to. So even those are actions or not. So learning Vedanta does not mean that you just sit happy. Each one has to work, including Ram, including Krishna. So this is the thing, you be very, very careful about this, that the flood of life has endless activities. Only you, and let the activities continue, only you change the direction of the flood to benefit mankind. That is all you have to do. And that also you have to do slowly, slowly. You can't change the flood of water immediately. Even the sluices open slowly. You can't do it immediately. It will flood the plains, right? Similarly, that is the kind of advice you have to give to people around you, if at all you need to give advice. But don't unsettle them. The word used is don't unsettle them. So, okay. That much for today. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.